Hello, Townley.
Whiskey.
You ain't wanted here, farmer. Get back to your plow.
This is a public place. Man's got a right to buy a drink.
I told you to get out.
Not till I finish my drink.
You get mighty brave all of a sudden. What's that wife of yours been doing to you?
Leave my wife out of this.
Well, now, I don't know about that. She's a mighty good-looking woman. Clean her up a little. No man can do that and stay alive.
From out of the West, Dick Powell's Zane Grey Theater.
When Horace Greeley said, "Go west, young man," a lot of the legal boys took his advice to heart. And pretty soon the West had more lawyers than it had law. The average lawyer had a set of law books, a rather dignified sign to hang outside, a commanding voice, and a quick tongue. He had to talk fast because if he took time to meditate, he might find his client dangling at the end of a rope. Starting a law practice in the early West wasn't simple. The fees were small, many of the judges were prejudiced, and sometimes the hardest work was just keeping the jury sober for more than a few hours. There were no set rules for picking a jury. Anybody was eligible. There was a case in Arizona where every member of the jury was a relative of the defendant. The verdict? I know, you're ahead of me. Not guilty. And he was a lucky man. Some of my relatives would give me life. A lawyer wasn't always welcome because in some of the towns, like this one, Sand Rock, Nevada, they made their own laws. They were quite simple. Claim jumper was hung, rustlers were hung, horse thieves were hung. It was a nice little town. A lot of people hung around here. In the story we've chosen for you this week, Time of Decision, a lawyer faces a most unusual case. Our star is Lloyd Bridges.
Take it easy, Ted. There's nothing to get so riled up about.
Get out of my way, Dan.
Man hasn't even got a gun.
Give me your gun. Now you got a gun. Use it.
I wouldn't stand a chance.
We can fix that, too. I'm going to give you your chance, Townley. 50-50. 3 chambers loaded. Every other one empty. It's a lot better than you deserve. Townley! You want it in the back? Or are you going to turn around and take it like a man? Take it.
Ted, you crazy?
Take it.
No.
Hey, Nancy.
Yes, sir?
About your daughter.
My daughter?
I thought we bought her a pair of shoes 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
Here's a bill for another pair.
Our daughter, counselor, is at that age where she outgrows her clothes the day after she gets them.
Well, you better tell her to stop growing for a while till I get a few more clients.
Well, I'll pass that word along. A client? Well, Ev, it's... Come in, Mrs. Townley. I'm sorry I didn't want to bother you at your house, but I didn't know where else to... Please sit down, Mrs. Townley. Here.
Mr. Tapper, please, you can't let them hang my husband. They say he murdered the Curtis boy. He couldn't. He don't even own a handgun.
Well, the boy's dead, Mrs. Townley.
Sam didn't do it.
3 witnesses there who saw it at the time that it happened. I think they all agreed that...
They're lying. They hate us. They hate us because we're homesteaders.
I don't blame you for feeling the way you do, Mrs. Townley, but... Well, I'm sure that nobody really hates you.
Mr. Tapper, please. They know you're here. They'll listen to you. Talk to Sam. You'll see, he couldn't hurt nobody.
Well, I've never handled a murder case. Now, I'm afraid, Mrs. Townley, I'm not the man you want.
Who else is there except Blaney Williams? We all know he's been Jed Curtis's lawyer for years.
Well, have you tried getting some lawyer out of town?
We wouldn't have a chance, you know that. They'd be not only against us, but against a stranger, too.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Townley.
I'm sorry for you, Mr. Tapper. I'd hoped you were different, but you're not. You're just like all the rest. If Jed Curtis says the sun wasn't shining, you'd try to hide your shadow.
I'm glad that's over. What's the matter? What'd you want me to do? Hey, wait a minute. Oh, Nance. Look, you wouldn't want me to jeopardize our future, would you?
Why would you be jeopardizing our future? Defending a man's life.
The boy is Ted Curtis. His father is Jed Curtis.
So?
So Jed Curtis is the biggest rancher, the most important man in this territory. Why, there isn't a person in town that's not dependent on him one way or another.
You know, I always thought being a lawyer must be a wonderful thing. Like being a doctor or a minister. Someone who'd always be there when you needed help.
Look, will you try to understand? Look, it isn't only Curtis. This is cattle country. People around here don't like farmers. I know. I was born and raised here. How do you think they'd feel about the man who defended Townley? Especially when they all say he's guilty.
Well, then I must be wrong. I apologize. But you always told me a man deserved a fair trial, innocent or guilty.
Lots of excitement here last night, huh?
Yeah.
How'd it happen?
Now, look, Eb, I've been answering questions all day.
What's biting you? Just ask you how it happened.
I'll tell you what I've been telling everybody else. I don't know.
You don't know.
That's right.
But you were right here, weren't you?
Yes, I was right here, and I was tending bar, minding my own business. Why don't you ask Bart Miller? He was here.
You mean Jed Curtis is foreman?
Well, then ask your friend Dan Slater. He was here, too.
But you didn't see anything at all, huh?
I told you, Eb, Hey, what are you, Townley's lawyer or something?
No. Jed Curtis's boys do a lot of drinking here, don't they, Will?
So what? You want me to close up?
No, nobody...
All you got around here is a handful of homesteaders. How much money do you think they spend?
You think that's reason enough to hang a man, Will?
We got nothing more to talk about.
Hiya, Bart.
Howdy, Evan.
Too bad about Ted.
Yeah, the old man's taking it pretty hard.
You were right here when it happened, weren't you?
I should have killed the plow pusher myself.
What did happen?
It was murder, Ev. The kid didn't stand a chance.
Well, how did it start? Did Toomey just walk in and start shooting?
Oh, maybe Ted did have one or two too many, and maybe he said something he shouldn't have, but that didn't call for Toomey to gun him down like he did.
Funny. I never knew Toomey to carry a gun. He'd tell he didn't even own one.
You taking Toomey's case?
I haven't decided that yet.
And I'll decide for you, Evan. Let it ride.
If that's a threat, Bart, I don't like it.
Like it or not, boy, I'm telling you, let it ride. You go sticking your nose in where it don't belong, you'll liable to get it shot off.
Dan, I want to talk to you.
Go ahead.
You were in that saloon last night, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
What happened?
You mixed up in it?
Not yet. But I'll tell you this, from what I've just heard, I'm not so sure that Townley's guilty.
Evan, this is your town. These are your friends. You're going to side against your own kind?
Right now, I just want to find out what happened.
Drop it. Stay out of it. I wish I was.
What happened in that saloon?
I don't know.
J-Bar C, Jed Curtis. Tell me something, Dan. How much business is a man's life worth to you?
Easy for you to talk, isn't it? You got nothing to lose. But without Curtis and the other ranchers, I'm just a storekeeper trying to make ends meet. You wouldn't know how that was, would you? Well, I do. And so does my wife. 12, 14 hours a day, always on our feet, counting our profits in pennies. We're too old to go back to that again. Evan, what are you going to do?
I don't know. Guess I'll go for a long ride. Maybe I can get the stink of this town out of my nostrils.
Mommy?
Yes, Patty?
When will Daddy be home?
Should have been home hours ago. Tell you what, let's go down to the office and bring him home.
All right.
We got a message for your husband, missus. You tell him we don't like nester lovers around here.
Well, if you've got anything to say to my husband, say it to his face.
I'm telling you, missus.
Shut up.
You listen to me. If you're smart, you'll remember this. Next time, somebody's gonna get hurt.
You all right?
I'm all right, sweetheart. I'm sorry I didn't realize I was so late. Hey, what's the matter? What's happened?
Patty and I went out to look for you.
Yeah?
2 men I didn't recognize stopped us. They threatened us.
The Townley thing?
But, Evan, what did you do to make them say what they did?
Guess I asked too many questions of the wrong people.
Darling, I'm so frightened.
Sweetheart.
Oh, they said next time someone would get hurt.
Don't worry. There won't be a next time.
Evan, you were right. I was wrong. It's none of our business. There's nothing you can do. Nobody could blame you.
Until this is settled, you're not to go out after dark anymore, you hear? How'd you happen to be out anyway looking for me? Was there something important?
Oh, I was so frightened I forgot. Jet Curtis was here.
Curtis here?
Wants to see you as soon as possible.
It's open. Yeah, come on in.
Morning, Mr. Curtis.
Sit down. Have a cigar.
No, thanks. I'm sorry about your son.
We all are. I've been intending
Curtis? A couple of men stopped my wife and daughter last night. Scared them half to death.
Well, who were they?
She didn't know them.
Well, then why are you telling me? Why, I don't fight women and children. I had nothing to do with it.
Well, if you do find out that it was any of your men, see that it doesn't happen again, huh?
Of course, Evan. Of course I will. Ev, got a proposition for you. I want you to take over a piece of my legal business.
I thought that Blaney Williams was your lawyer.
He is, but he's getting older and the business is getting bigger. Now, suppose we start you out with a small chunk on a retainer basis. You try it for a year, say, if it works out, why, I see no reason why it shouldn't. Then you can start taking over more and more.
Why me?
Why not? You want it, don't you?
Very much so.
We have no argument.
Mrs. Townley came to see me yesterday.
Yeah, I figured you would. You take the case?
No. Suppose I did.
The law says a man has a right to legal counsel. One thing, though, if you take that deal we just talked about, why, you're going to have to leave for San Antonio pretty quick. I don't think you'd have much time for anything else.
Well, that means that town will have to bring in a lawyer from out of town, doesn't it? Stranger.
You know how I felt about Ted. Now he's dead. The man that killed him's going to pay for it. Townley will hang. The town will see to that, no matter who defends him. If you're borrowing trouble, this isn't your problem. You can be a big man in these parts, but you got to make up your mind. Townley or me? Which is it going to be?
Howdy, Mr. Tapper.
Howdy. I, just in to see the sheriff. Thought I'd drop in and say hello.
That's real nice of you. My wife told me she was in to see you yesterday.
Oh, yeah, she was. And, well, as I explained to her, I didn't think that I was the right man for... you see, civil cases are the only kind I've ever handled.
I understand.
I hope so, Mr. Townley, because I'm mighty upset about not being able to help you.
Don't feel bad. A man does what he's got to do. Don't go blaming yourself. Mr. Tapper. Thanks for coming by.
I don't think it's anything too serious, Nancy. Here we are. All right, easy. Easy. I'll get some water.
Evan, what's wrong with
No, I'm
you?
all right, sweetheart. Just don't worry about me. I'll be all right.
There.
Oh, easy, darling.
Evan. Evan, I just can't live this way. Afraid every time there's a knock on the door, every time a horse goes by. Scared to leave my baby alone. We could move to another town, do anything but stop this.
No, darling. I can't. I just can't.
Why can't you?
I don't know if I can tell you why. It isn't just because of Toomey anymore. We live here. This is our home. If we start running now, well, we stop. Sam, how do we know that there won't be something else to run from in the next town, the one after that? I'm no hero, sweetheart, but I gotta stay here and fight. Just something that I've got to do.
You go to sleep. Good night.
Evan, help me. It'll be such a lonely fight.
That's why I'll need you.
Did you, change his mind?
No.
I was afraid of that. Well, me and the missus talked it over, and guess you have got something to lose. Maybe more than we have, and if you... Well, it seems like there were some questions you wanted the answers to. Go ahead and ask them.
May not be as lonely as we think.